The office was quiet, too quiet. Desks stood in neat rows, the hum of fluorescent lights fading into the stillness of after hours. A single fan rattled somewhere near the ceiling, carrying the faint smell of lemon polish and dust. I pushed the mop across the linoleum floor. Each sweep sounded louder than it should, echoing against the walls like a hesitant question. The elevator chimed, empty, as it slid past the top floor. He sat behind his desk, still in a pressed suit, papers stacked just so. He didn't look at me when I walked past. He never did. His eyes were on the screen, fingers tapping a rhythm I couldn't hear. "Careful with that," he said, without looking up. The words weren't sharp, but they carried the weight of something I had felt all my life. Invisible, small, dispensable. I nodded. The mop stayed still for a moment. The air smelled faintly of coffee and cold metal. The hallway lights buzzed overhead. I could hear the faint click of my shoes against the tile. This floor, these rooms, they were mine at night. I knew the way the shadows fell across the carpet, the way the janitor's closet door always creaked if you didn't close it right, the way the copier hummed a little off-key when it warmed up. I stopped at the kitchen, stacking the empty cups. A sticky note on the fridge read, "Don't forget the report tomorrow." I didn't touch it. I heard him coming down the hall before I saw him. His steps were brisk, purposeful, like he carried the entire building on his shoulders. "You always make a mess," he said. I didn't answer. I just continued wiping the counter. He leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. The office smelled of burnt carpet and recycled air. "You know, some people are good at cleaning. Others, not so much," he said. His eyes flicked toward the mop again, not meeting mine. I didn't reply. I only nodded once. Later, the night settled heavier. The city outside the window was a blur of red and gold, headlights painting long stripes across the concrete. I was stacking chairs in the conference room when the old piano in the corner caught my eye. No one used it. It hadn't been tuned in years. The keys yellowed like old teeth, but it called to me anyway. I lifted the cover. The dust rose in tiny clouds. My fingers rested lightly on the keys. The first note sounded soft, a hesitant C, then E, G, a chord. I didn't notice him come in. He stood there a moment, leaning on the door frame, arms crossed, waiting. I played another chord, letting it linger. The sound seemed to fill the room differently, shaking the dust from the corners. The lights flickered once. You play?" he asked, voice low. Not accusatory, curious, hesitant. I shrugged. "Used to. A long time ago." He stepped closer. The suit felt out of place in the dim light. "Show me," he said. I did. I played something slow, something careful. The melody rose and fell, soft, deliberate. It didn't need applause. The room itself seemed to listen. I glanced up. His eyes were on the keys, not on me, but they weren't dismissive anymore. There was a flicker of something, maybe recognition, surprise. The music stopped. Silence fell like a gentle weight. The creak of the floorboards seemed louder now, but different. No longer accusatory, only present. He straightened, rubbed the back of his neck. I didn't know you had this," he said. His voice cracked slightly, unfamiliar. "I didn't either," I murmured. He walked to the window, looking out at the city, then back at the piano. "All this time, I just assumed." I nodded. "It happens." He didn't speak for a while, just stood there, quiet. The fluorescent lights hummed above. The piano keys reflected a faint glow. I could hear the soft swish of my mop left in the hallway. Finally, he said almost to himself, "I shouldn't have judged." I didn't answer. I simply dusted my hands on my uniform. The sound was soft. It felt like a small acknowledgement, enough to fill the space between us. He moved closer to the piano again. "Play something else," he said. Not demanding, just wanting. I did. My fingers found their way over the keys, memory guiding them. The music was simple, imperfect, but alive. He listened. I watched the way his shoulders relaxed, his hands unclenched, the rigid line of his mouth softened. I realized then that the office didn't matter. The hierarchy, the assumptions, the labels, they didn't mean anything here. Only the sound, only the moment. And for once, he wasn't looking past me. He was looking at me. Later, when the music stopped, the night had shifted. The city outside the window had quieted. Even the hum of the fluorescent lights seemed softer, like it respected the pause. He nodded once, a small, almost shy gesture. "Thank you," he said. Not for cleaning, not for obedience, not for being invisible, but for this, for the music. I nodded back, didn't say anything. Words weren't necessary. The piano's echo lingered, filling the room with what had been unspoken. I left the room last, closing the piano cover gently. The dust settled again. The floor creaked under my shoes. Outside, the city lights winked and blurred, and somewhere in the silence, I knew he'd remember. The way someone could surprise you, the way hidden things could shine. The janitor's closet door closed behind me. A faint click. The office, now still and empty, seemed different somehow, lighter. I walked past his desk. He was looking at the screen again, papers neatly stacked. But I could see it in the way his shoulders had eased, in the pause before he typed. He had learned something. He would not forget. Outside, the wind picked up, whispering across the building. And for the first time that night, I felt seen. The floor hummed quietly beneath my feet. The lights flickered once, and then everything was still.